Hello, everyone, viewing audience. We are back in day 3 of this trial of the Waukesha parade involving Darrel Brooks, who is the culprit, who is the suspect, who is the alleged defendant, as he likes to refer to himself. But we know him as the sewer rat, the sewer rat, that cold sewer rat that was on the porch of Daniel Ryder's. Y'all ain't saying nothing. We all owe Daniel Ryder a thank you. You inadvertently helped the state capture him. Thank you, Daniel. You didn't even know you had a demon, a killer, a sewer rat in your house, and I'm surprised you let the sewer rat in. All right, let's get back into this.
Filed a report. I feel like her testimony would be relevant to the matter.
All right, I'll keep her on the list as well. Anyone else on the list of subpoenas?
No, Your Honor, we'll just await to receive the corrected subpoenas, and then we will endeavor to have them served.
You know, it's ironic they're talking about subpoenas, and Darrel would ask invariably the question to some of the witnesses, why did you agree to testify? What do you mean they were subpoenaed? People don't just show up in court and testify out for no reason. They were subpoenaed to be there. What does he not understand? This is why I think he should not have been allowed to represent himself, because he was clearly ignorant. He was clearly stupid. He was clearly incompetent. He should not have been allowed to represent himself, because he didn't intend to represent himself knowing that he was going to win. He did this for the purpose of mockery and or chicanery, because that's exactly what this trial was. It was a mockery. It was a farce. Let's get back into this.
All right, thank you.
Just one thing real quick, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
And if I'm misspeaking right here, feel free to correct me.
Oh, yeah, you've been corrected every time. Anything that comes out of your mouth needs correction. You're actually living in one now, a correctional facility. You stupid fool.
You said something to the effect about getting more paperwork in during the lunch hour.
And?
What was that referring to?
I believe it was referring to a witness list. If you had one, but what you're indicating is you'd like the grouping of subpoenas and the witnesses who are identified to be reflective of your witness list without filing an independent witness list.
Well, I missed this subpoena. It's only one, but I would have to change it because it was filled out in the same way as the other ones. My mistake for missing it. I got a lot of paper.
Oh,
what's the name on it?
That's not an excuse. That's not an excuse. You wanted to be your own attorney. All right? You were ill-advised to do so. So that's not the court's fault. Whether you are... I like how Judge Darrel told him one time. She said, listen, how you are prepared is solely on you. In other words, if you are unprepared, guess what? That's on you. All right, let's read who this witness is that he on his subpoena list. Come on.
Catrice Babes. I don't know. It's spelled. All right, I don't want to butcher it.
I think that was the girl that was supposed to be his witness, and then he, start looking at her in a maniacal way. Y'all remember he said, "You recall what you want to recall, and you don't recall what you don't want to recall." And the state was like, wait a minute, how could a witness recall what they don't recall? Yo, that's why I keep telling y'all, this whole thing was a farce. It was a show. It was a mockery. This is why he shouldn't have been allowed to represent himself. But unfortunately, Judge Darrel is the referee in this. In other words, she permitted it. She allowed it to happen, unfortunately. All right, come on.
That's okay. Hand it to the bailiff, and then I'll take a look at it.
It's filled out in the correct, the incorrect, just like the other one. So I would have to essentially change it. But
well, that makes sense that it was incorrect, given that you're not an attorney.
I just wanted that for the record that that was lurking in my paperwork.
That's okay. Thank you for providing that.
See, if I was the judge, I wouldn't even entertain that, like laughing with him. Like, this is not a joke. How can he even find the temerity or have the audacity to laugh? Like, your life is on the line. I even noticed that even in the interrogation room, he was like laughing in the interrogation room. Like, bro, maybe he did have a mental illness, because what normal person would do that? What am I saying? That's not normal to laugh in that interrogation room after what he did. That is sick. That is textbook insanity. Here we go. But that was crazy. His own witness, I think that was Babez. That was supposed to be his witness that he was grilling.
The last name is Babiazz.
That's Babez.
We're familiar with that witness. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we'll add that to the list.
You know what's crazy? This is the preliminary of that. So she's getting ready to add his witness Babez, because she's on the subpoena. But what's crazy about this, the judge doesn't even know that this is going to be a farce, because when he questions her, it's going to be crazy. Sometimes I wish the judge had premonition, knowing that this was going to be a farce, and you know what, I'm not going to add her on the list. Oh,
Still
wow.
have the originals that I handed over to you.
I do.
All right, why don't we give all of those back to Mr. Brooks so that he has those, including the one in my hand. We'll make sure he gets new forms. And then if you could just make sure you provide those at the end of the day today, or by the end of the day.
Well, I don't know if I'll be able to fill all those out on a break.
If need be, I'll let you sit here at the end of the day until you get them filled out, so to make sure the state gets them right away. Okay?
See how much easier that would have been if he would have had counsel? That's their job. That's their job. But he thought he was the smartest person in the room. And now he is getting basically a reality check. And ultimately he did, in the form of 7,000 years in a cage.
I can try to knock out as many as I can during the breaks to make it easier.
No, what's easier is if you would have kept Attorney Perry on, you fool. He's stupid, man.
We'll give you time.
I'm not sure that,
We'll give you time. Don't worry about it. All right, anything else from the state?
No, thank you.
Mr. Brooks, anything else from you?
Yes.
See, wait a minute. How can he even find the time to laugh? What is funny? What is funny, given that he is the culprit in this situation? What is funny knowing that he was the man that's alleged to be driving a red Ford Escape in that Waukesha parade? What is funny? How do you find the time to laugh, to giggle? This is beyond sick.
At this point, I'm probably beating the dead horse, but I just have to state for the record anyway. I would like to direct Your Honor to, I believe it's Milo versus United States.
Oh, so now he's going to challenge her in case law. Given that he is not an attorney, he knows nothing about the law other than breaking the law. All right, this is Judge Doro. She's a formal DA. She's a formal litigator. She is the current umpire. And she needs to use that authority as umpire and stop this farce that's taking place. I'm sorry, umpire. Did I say empire? Oh, I was thinking about that man, Jesse Smollett. Yeah, y'all remember Jesse from Empire. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Oh, y'all ain't saying nothing.
505 F2D 1026. Are you familiar with that, Your Honor?
Not off the top of my head, but I can pull it up.
And also Higgins versus Levine, 415 US
shut up, Barry.
533.
You don't know what you talking about.
And those cases are being brought up because of the continuing asking of me about the jurisdiction that I've been challenging.
Yeah, trying to impugn the integrity of these court proceedings. Challenging. That's exactly what he's doing. And it went nowhere. As I stated in one of the other videos, he was on a bridge to nowhere. Well, in theory, no, that bridge actually brought him over to Dodge Correctional Facility, where he belongs. Basically.
I believe they're very, very relevant to this matter.
I believe it's... See, he's confusing civil versus criminal, all right? What Mr. Brooks did at the Waukesha Parade was not a civil action. No, that wasn't civil. Well, it was uncivil what he did. But this was ultimately criminal. So he's confusing civil versus criminal. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but it's apparent. It's obvious because we know he's not an attorney. He's not counsel. So in theory, it kind of makes sense. All right.
Could I ask Mr. Brooks to repeat those numbers again?
For both?
Yes, please.
For Milo, I believe it is, or it might be Milo, but
See, you don't even know.
M-I-L-O?
Milo?
Is it M-I-L-O, the spelling?
M-E-L-O.
Oh, I had it right the first time. Okay.
505 F2D 1026. And Higgins versus Levine, 415 US 533.
This is going nowhere because it's not going to help him. It's irrelevant. It has nothing to do. It doesn't reflect.
Anything specific you want to draw my attention to?
What's the point?
It's cases that challenge the jurisdiction, which I've been doing.
I'm sorry.
Challenging the jurisdiction. Milo versus United States states once jurisdiction is challenged, the court cannot proceed when it clearly appears that the court lacks jurisdiction. The court has no authority to reach merits, but rather should dismiss the action.
That's civil. That's civil, bro. What?
For the record, Mr. Brooks, the Higgins versus Levine is 415 US 528.
Get him, Judge.
Perhaps you're drawing my attention to page 533, but the site for the case is 415 US 528.
That could be so. I apologize if I'm stating it wrong.
Everything you're saying is wrong.
What about the other?
I believe it's, the information I have is 533. That states the law requires proof of jurisdiction to appear on the record of the administrative agency in all administrative proceedings.
This is civil.
We have yet to prove the jurisdiction. It has yet to be proven. I've filed a motion. I've stated on the record numerous times.
And you were sentenced and you're serving 7,000 years. So apparently they did have quote unquote jurisdiction.
I have yet to get an answer.
And you were specifically referring to the documents you filed on October 3rd.
I've been challenging jurisdiction since the beginning of trial.
Like a fool.
Probably as far back as when I became a pro per defending myself.
And where did he end up from challenging that? Get him, Judge Darrel.
Also, you can look at U.S. versus Lopez.
No, this is a waste of time. We don't need to look at that.
You can look at, I think that's...
Why don't you look into apologizing to the people who you hurt, these victims? That's what you need to look into for asking for forgiveness. What you did, this atrocity that you did is absolutely, and it was horrific, and it's absolutely insane that you think that you can try to turn the narrative using these quote unquote case laws to try to get out of this. It's not going to happen. You challenging subject matter jurisdiction did not work, apparently, given your custodial status today. Exactly.
It may be from 1995.
Do you have a citation?
Just really
He doesn't
quick.
know what he's doing. He's confusing civil and criminal. Why is the judge even entertaining this?
I may
just
have
stop.
to find it in my paperwork for the Lopez.
Unprepared. He has to find it. How you gonna bring this up?
All right, will you locate that when you find?
How's he gonna bring this up, and then be unprepared at the same time? That's stupid. That's dumb. That's not what an attorney does. An attorney is supposed to be prepared.
Let me know outside the presence of the jury. I'll take your request under advisement. I'll take a look at these cases. I don't believe they're going to change my previous rule.
Did y'all hear what she just said? I don't believe it's going to alter my previous ruling. So why even waste the time to look it over? This is a waste of time. It's not going to change the narrative. I don't even like to call this a narrative because it's not a narrative. It's the truth of the matter of what he did. I don't really like to say truth because that's ultimately up to the jurors to decide on. We know that. But at least the verdicts are no longer out. The verdicts are in. And the verdicts were unanimously agreed upon relative to the evidence that reflect what Mr. Brooks did at the Waukesha parade.
That the issues that you have raised are without merit, as previously ruled on. But I'll take a look, and if I feel I need...
What is without merit? That means it's baseless. It's meritless. It's baseless to even look over these case law. It's not going to change nor alter. This is a waste of time. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
To address it further, I'll give you an opportunity to argue.
I believe it should be addressed. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Anyway.
Then with that, we are still going to continue, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you.
And we'll bring the jury out. I presume the state has the next witness available.
Yes.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Look at it. What is he looking for? He's unprepared. Put that Bible down. Put that Bible down. The devil should never hold a Bible because he's not associated to one. Other than the description of him being evil, and that's what Brooks is, the epitome of evil. As Attorney Opera stated, Mr. Brooks is the epitome of evil. All right, the jurors are coming out. Is he going to stand or what? There was one time he didn't stand. What's he looking around for?
Just waiting for one. Okay.
You know who I feel sorry for? I feel sorry for the stenographer. Given that all the interruptions that Brooks made, like how was the stenographer the court reporter able to type all that down and get everything precise? That's crazy. She probably had the hardest job trying to keep track of all that. Oh my God. Some of us never think about that, but the stenographer has to type all that nonsense down. I'm pretty sure a lot of that stuff was struck from
Did
the
you
record.
say that Lopez was from 1995?
I believe that's the one that is referring to.
If it's the same case, it's 514 U.S. 549 for the state.
514549.
514 U.S. 549
Thank
from
you.
1995.
Thank you.
It's refreshing to see 3 real attorneys.
All rise.
Zach looked like he tired. I don't blame him. 3 weeks of this crap. But this is actually day 3. So they had a lot more days to go. This is the first week, if it was 3 days. But Brooks started even on the first day of trial. Went right at it with the judge. Had to be removed. And you don't think the appellate court seen how many times Brooks was ousted from the courtroom because of his disruptions? So the appellate court ain't gonna
Thank you,
have-
everyone. Please be seated. State may call its next witness.
Thank you. And the state calls Battalion Chief Jim Hawkinson.
Sir, please make your way to the witness stand. When you get there, please remain standing and raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. When you are seated, please state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Jim Hawkinson, Jimhaakenson.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. How are you employed?
I'm employed as a battalion chief shift commander for the City of Waukesha Fire Department.
How long have you held that position?
I've been a battalion chief for 6 years.
How long in total have you worked for the Waukesha Fire Department?
22 years.
Did you have any other type of fire or emergency work before you worked for WFD?
I did. I worked for the City of Pewaukee. I believe I started in 1996.
What kind of things are you responsible for as a battalion chief?
As a battalion chief, I manage the day-to-day operations of an entire shift of firefighters, lieutenants, company officers, those kinds of things.
Could you describe for us in general terms how the Waukesha Fire Department is organized?
Yes, the fire department is organized into 3 separate shifts. These shifts are divided into 5 stations. The stations are strategically located throughout the city to provide response to any area of the city in a very timely fashion. The minimum staffing, meaning the minimum number of people on duty every day, is 26 personnel.
Which of the 5 stations is closest to the downtown Waukesha area?
That would be Station 1.
Okay. Can you describe for us the resources that are available at each of the 5 stations?
There are 5 ambulances and either 3 engines and 2 ladder trucks. So at each station there is a heavy piece of apparatus, an engine or a truck, and an ambulance.
Were you on duty working as a battalion chief on Sunday, November 21st of 2021?
I was.
Were you aware that the Waukesha Christmas Parade was going to be taking place that day?
I was.
In your capacity as a battalion chief for the fire department, were you aware of any preparations that had been underway with your department, knowing that that event was going on?
By the way, before he answers, I know you probably are wondering, oh my God, this is the most he's been quiet. Because y'all notice I hadn't been saying nothing. I had muted my microphone for a minute. But I'm going to be saying things in and out. I do want to fast forward this. I want to FF this. That is the acronym for fast forward, not to F. You know, you got to be careful saying that. People could misinterpret that. So I want to fast forward this to, is this the part I want? Wait a minute. All right, let's go to this part. I like this examination here. Hold on. Okay. Let's start right here. Before I had fast forward, I know I did sit before he answers and we never even went to his answer. But y'all can check it out on day 3. Yeah, I'm just trying to get through this. Let's play this.
Your next witness, please.
Your Honor, the state calls Kyle Jewell.
as Mr. Kyle is making his way in the courtroom. I thought this was rather interesting when Brooks had questioned him. And I also have to find the Christopher
Good afternoon,
Bartram.
sir. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right, upper riser. When you get there, please remain standing.
And by the way, those of you, some of you all have been inboxing me about the Christopher Bartram examination, but I don't remember which day of the trial that was. Those of you that remember the day of that trial, let me know. I remember watching that exchange, and it was, oh my God, it was hilarious. But I don't remember the actual day of the trial. So those of you that know, please forward me that information, and I will be gladly to do the commentary on it. Thank you.
Raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, will swear you in.
Mr. Kyle.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat.
State your name.
First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and spell each.
Kyle Jewell, Kylejewell.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Jewell.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Jewell, on the day of November 21, 2021, did you attend the Waukesha Christmas parade in downtown Waukesha?
Yes.
Did you come with friends and family members?
Yes, with family.
About how many people were in your group, sir?
Probably 7 or 9. I would have to count them
That's
to really
okay.
get the accurate number.
Okay. And where did you set up along the parade route to watch the festivities?
Yeah, so we were right in between those new apartments and Alo Chocolate. I don't know what road it was next to.
Okay. And so you were right on Main Street, correct?
Yeah.
And new apartments are like 4 or 5 stories high, is that right?
Yep, right next to Alo Chocolate.
Okay. And on the north side of the road, that would be?
Correct.
Okay. As you were sitting there, what do you recall happening, sir?
Yeah, so we were watching the parade. I had a bunch of kids in front of us, my kids, some other family members, and at one point, you know, we had I believe it was the Remax hot air balloon truck coming to the left of us, and then we start hearing just some people yelling, "Stop that car!" And the next thing you know, from my left, going down the road, you see a red SUV just go straight through the parade, and where we were sitting at that time was the Waukesha South's band, and just drove right through Waukesha South's band, and just continued going.
Can you imagine that? So he actually viewed this. He saw this. Can you imagine actually witnessing this like live as it's happening? That is incredible. Oh, wow.
Did you see any people being struck by the SUV?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you see any objects flying in the air?
I didn't see any objects flying in the air. I saw the red SUV going over people.
Okay, can you describe that for us, please?
Yeah, so the band had just passed us, red SUV going, again, this is just an estimate, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour, just went straight over the Waukesha South band, and it's not like it stopped. I mean, it went over. I saw the red SUV. It looked like it went in the air, like over a pretty big object, and it just was like a big old speed bump and kept going.
Okay. You saw that from your position on the side of the road?
Yes.
At some point, did you get up and leave your position?
I did. So when the red SUV had pretty much gone through the band, my reaction was to run after the car, and honestly was trying to get into it to stop it. That was just my perspective on it.
Wow.
I did not get into the SUV.
That's pretty brazen to do something like that, you know. I would have gotten out of the way and got out of Dodge, you know. But that was pretty brazen for him to try to want to have the desire to stop the vehicle.
Were you able to catch it?
No. It drove off at a pretty quick speed after it went through the band.
And you were running on foot?
Correct.
Okay.
You know, that's what I said. Me and Darrel Brooks probably have something in common. I said I wanted to get out of Dodge. Well, where is he? He wants to get out of Dodge too, because he's in Dodge Correctional Facility.
prior to the
I'm sure he wanted to get out of
to
there.
the SUV hitting the students in the band, did you hear the horn on the vehicle honking at all?
I did not.
As the vehicle struck students in the band, did you ever see the vehicle stop?
I did not. It would have slowed down a little bit as it hit people, but it did not slow down when it hit the band and then when it drove off.
Okay. I'd like to put up exhibit number 25, please, for the
I'm surprised.
witness.
I'm surprised he's not objecting. He normally would object anytime
And
the state, requires for the exhibit to be published, especially to the jurors.
anything on your screen in front of you, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Is this 25? Okay. And you see the video that's showing on your screen in front of you, sir?
Yes.
Is this a video that you've seen before?
Yes, it is.
And do you believe this is a true and accurate representation of the events as you saw them on November 21 of 2021?
Yes.
Like to admit number 25 and permission to play it for the jury?
Mr. Brooks?
Objection is hearsay. How is everybody seeing the videos before seeing them now?
You can ask that on cross-exam, sir. But the foundation has been laid and exhibit 25 is received.
Permission to publish.
Permission to publish is granted.
Yes.
All right, we're going to put it up, and then before we play anything, I'd ask if you could point out for the jury the approximate area where you and your family were stationed.
And by the way, I'm sorry, y'all. And by the way, how can this be hearsay? Y'all heard him object saying hearsay. How can it be hearsay when this man, Kyle Jules, directly witnessed this attack? He witnessed it. So if he witnessed it, then this is not hearsay.
Want me to do that?
That's a touch screen in front of you. That's a good question. You can either circle or mark with an X, or there's a dot you can put there, whatever.
Yeah.
Just the general area where you were standing.
Somewhere over here.
Okay. And you remember seeing the parade approaching then from your left?
Yes.
I'm sorry, the band, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and play this with volume, please.
This is damning. And Darrel Brooks knows it's damning against him. That's why he keeps objecting. He don't want the jury to see this. Just like he didn't want the jury to see the view of the vehicle. Talking about that couldn't take place unless he gives his consent. Nigga. I'm sorry. I shouldn't use that word. Child, please.
Pause.
Oh my God.
Okay, we paused at the 41-second mark.
That's when it started.
When do you first recall seeing that red SUV? Was it about this point or was it back further?
Pretty much right when it rounded the Remax van.
Okay. And then do you remember seeing it come around the left side of the Remax van and then veer to the right in front of the Remax van?
Yes.
And now it's headed in the direction of where you and your family are?
Correct.
Do you remember that, sir?
Yes.
What were you thinking during this?
Really what's going on. Normally you don't see a vehicle going that quick down a parade route.
Exactly,
Okay.
because that's not normal.
Go
That's
ahead and
not
continue
normal.
playing, please.
Oh my God, that sounds like a scary movie or something. Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna
That sounds like you're watching My Final Destination. How many have seen that movie? Oh my God, when they got on the plane. Woo, Jesus.
We're gonna play it again a little bit slower, and I want you to point out the point where you yourself get up and run after the red SUV, okay?
Okay.
Before you have him do that, for the record, how long is this video?
Thank you, Judge. The video is exactly 1 minute in duration.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So play it at half speed, please. No sound, because with half speed the sound is annoying.
Well, it's sad to even listen to those sounds. They were screaming. That's why I said it sounds like a movie. And for correction, the movie is called Final Destination. You know how somebody's gonna make a correction. Oh, that movie was Final Destination. But look at this. So they're marching. And it was too graphic to show him driving through that parade. That's why it's not shown. I wouldn't want to see it. I would not even want to see that. Even if it was allowed to be shown, I would not want to see him driving through that parade. That would just, I mean, it's just horrific enough knowing what he did, let alone seeing what he did. And that's why I said this man, Kyle, actually seen this. He witnessed it. He was brazen enough to try to stop the vehicle. That's bold. That shows you care. It's not normal for somebody to be driving through a parade when there's a sea of people. Is that it right there? See, you notice they're not showing it. Wow. It really took,
right there.
I was going to say, it really took a lot of intestinal fortitude to be able to come to court and be able to face this guy, you know, and a lot of restraint not to hurt that guy, you know. I don't know how they showed great restraint.
We're paused at the 48-second mark. You see yourself, sir?
I do.
Where are you?
Want me to
Circle it. You've just run out into the middle of the street, is that right? Or towards the middle of the street?
Yes.
Where were you going?
Chasing after the car.
What were you going to do if you caught it?
Wanted to stop it.
Try and stop it.
Yep.
You described on your direct testimony the seeing the car look like it was going over speed bumps, is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that what's shown in this exhibit number 25?
Yes.
In fact, it was going over people, not speed bumps.
Correct. Yes.
But it was like speed bumps.
Keep
That's
playing,
the
I want to
simile.
see where you go.
Ain't that crazy? He drove over those people like they were speed bumps. That is, oh my God. That's exactly why I couldn't watch the entire video of him driving over those people. That's, and here's a guy that witnessed it. I'm even glad the sound is turned off. Wow.
And we played it to the end just for the record. You never were able to catch up.
No.
But towards the end of that video, you're off screen. We can't see you anymore.
Yes.
About how far down did you chase that SUV, sir?
It had to have been pretty far down the road. I don't have an exact that I can remember, but I ran for a pretty good amount of time. It wasn't quite to the 5 corners.
Okay.
But it was a pretty good distance.
And any point along the way, did you notice the SUV stop?
I did not, no.
Did you see the driver of the SUV get out and check on any of the people that he had just run over?
No.
See? Exactly. I think I mentioned that in one of my previous videos. He didn't try to get, if this was done not to be intentional, then why didn't he get out to try to render quote unquote assistance? See, he didn't do that. He kept driving. So that breaks down, once again, the credibility of him alleging that this was done unwittingly or inadvertently. Bingo. And I like how Sue Opera is basically bringing this out to prove that this definitely was intentional.
Did you get a
Otherwise, he would have stopped and rendered assistance.
look at the driver?
I didn't get a good look at the driver, no.
Okay.
That I can remember.
Sure. After you chased the SUV but were not able to catch it, did you make your way back towards your family?
I did.
Did you encounter injured people along the way?
Yes, many of them.
And were they mostly from the school band or others?
Mainly from the South's band.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I don't have any other questions, sir.
All right, here we
All right,
go.
thank you, Mr. Brooks. Do you have any questions?
Get
Yes,
your
I do.
popcorn out.
Do you recall being interviewed by a Detective Carpenter on November 24th of 2021?
I do remember being interviewed by a detective, yes.
Any idea why it took a few days for you to be interviewed?
Just the nature of the incident. I'm sure they had a lot to get through.
Exactly.
So I just wanted to wait a little bit, and it wasn't something that I was going to do.
They interviewed a lot of people. What did Darrel think that everybody that witnessed all of that were all interviewed all in the same day? What the hell? What the? Listen, I know Attorney Perry didn't write those questions. Those definitely have to be coming from Darrel because they sound stupid. They're dumb questions.
When you say it wasn't something that you was going to do, what are you referring to?
Just seek some counsel from some mentors. After talking with them, they had advised that I should make a statement.
So it would be fair to say that you didn't intend on making a report.
That is correct.
Can you explain why?
Maybe he's subpoenaed. Same thing.
Just didn't feel comfortable with it.
Well, I thought Darrel meant, why did he agree? Because, he was asking some of the witnesses that why did they agree to come to court? Maybe Darrel doesn't know what a subpoena is. People don't just show up in court for no reason. All right? There was a subpoena. Who issues the subpoena? All right? The DA. Who brings the charges? Y'all remember he asked one of the witnesses, are you aware of who brought the charges? Like, why wouldn't he know who brought the charges? It's the DA. And when they bring the charges, it has to be approved by the grand jury. Once there is approval, now we got a case. Exactly.
Would it be fair to say that the events that you witnessed would make anyone want to make a report? Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Well, look, if he hadn't drove through the parade, then nobody would have ever had to make a report from the get-go. See, I don't like when he tries to say things that sound logical, but he does something completely stupid in the process. Like, why did you drive through the parade, dumbass? That's what I'm trying to. I'm still trying to figure that out. What was the reason for that? Crazy.
Do you recall about what time you arrived at the parade?
I do not.
Do you recall what time you left?
I do not.
You stated earlier that you were with family. Is that correct?
Yes.
Were you or any of your family members injured in the incident?
Why Darrel doesn't care about that? Why does that matter? You don't care. You have no regard for his family or anybody
I'm looking at
injured.
The police report here.
Is he gonna read the summary again and try to question him like he
You
did?
did state that you didn't get a description of the driver, correct?
Yes.
Did you get a license plate number?
I did not.
Do you recall if there was any tint on the vehicle that you saw?
Not in the front, no.
What do you mean by not in the front?
I did not see any tint on the front windows or the passenger side window.
Because it was down.
From what I could remember, there was tint on the back windows.
So it would be fair to say that you couldn't see into the back of the vehicle, correct?
Correct.
It didn't matter about seeing in the back of the vehicle because you can't drive a vehicle from the back of the vehicle. So even if the back of the vehicle was tinted, that's irrelevant. The point was the driver had the windows down. Now, Jules may not have seen him, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't seen. and there is video. There is a captured photo of him in the SUV in the driver's seat. So who cares about the back of the vehicle? It was only one person in that vehicle driving, and it was this sewer rat. That's why the judge.
Do you recall how many occupants were in the vehicle?
It was only one.
Even though you couldn't see the entire inside of the vehicle?
Yes.
Even if there was occupants in the vehicle, it's still one driver that was driving it. That's just like if someone gets pulled over by the police, okay, and that police knows that the driver's behind the wheel and it smells like he's been drinking, irrespective of all the other occupants in that vehicle that may have been drinking, the cops won't say anything to them. You know why? Because they weren't behind the wheel. So it goes back to my point. Why would it matter if there was occupants? Why would it matter if the windows were tinted in the back? If the most important thing is the person who was driving. And who was driving? Darrel Edward Brooks. This is why the judge needs to, in my opinion, needs to step in and stop this under her 90611 authority. Because this is irrelevant. This is stupid, what he's saying. And the state needs to object.
Do you recall saying in your report that, or saying in the report that was reported by Detective Carpenter, that,
read the
I'm going to read
summary.
it what it says. He indicated that after the vehicle struck the south band, he chased it and got to within approximately an arm's reach of the vehicle. Do you recall that?
I do not.
Any reason why that would be reported?
Ask the person that wrote it.
A lot happening at that moment during that whole.
Why didn't the state object? They should have said objection. That wasn't his statement. It was a summary. Come on.
It very well just could have been what I had thought, and it does go out of frame, so I can't exactly remember what happens once the video and myself goes out of frame.
Do you recall being at arm's length from the vehicle?
I cannot remember right now, no.
Go ahead. He's winging it. We're trying
At what
to.
point did you see the vehicle slow down?
As it went over Waukesha South's band.
And what did the vehicle do after that?
It sped up.
That's why he couldn't catch it. It went faster. Why didn't he slow down? There wasn't nothing wrong with the throttle body or the brake.
Do you recall describing the acceleration as rapid?
Yes.
That's what sped up means. Rapid, to move faster. What the hell? Judge Darrel, please stop or state object. This is dumb what he's saying.
Would you say that the video that we just saw depicts a rapid acceleration?
Yes.
No. As if he didn't see the video. As if he didn't see you accelerate.
Do you recall stating that it seems as if the driver of the vehicle was hitting the gas as hard as he could?
Yes.
That's acceleration.
And how would you be able to tell that?
Because he was speeding up.
The nature of a vehicle going over people.
Like speed bumps.
You would think that the gas pedal would not be pushed as you're going over people. And as the car continued, the red SUV continued went over the Waukesha South band and continued to accelerate. I could only imagine that the gas pedal was being pushed very hard after just going over people.
So you were making an assumption. Would that be fair to say?
No. He saw.
I wouldn't say it was an assumption, just from driving a vehicle, knowing what happens when you go over a large object. It typically slows the car down. In order to speed it back up, the only thing that you can do is hit the gas pedal.
I mean, who doesn't know that? I mean, this is why the judge needs to step in. Who doesn't know that? Now, I know anybody can look at a vehicle and watch it drive, somebody driving, and you can tell when it's slowing down and when it's accelerating. That's just like before I even pull out in an intersection. If I see an oncoming vehicle coming, I can tell whether or not if that vehicle is accelerating or the vehicle is going at a slow pace that will allow me to pull out. So that's not something that I'm assuming. That's something that I know that I'm witnessing. And in this very case, Kyle Jules witnessed this. He witnessed this whole thing. Judge, please use your 90611 and stop this.
You can hit the gas pedal, or would you hit the gas pedal as hard as you could?
Does it matter?
From what I remembered,
You
it looked like the
accelerate.
gas pedal was being hit hard. The vehicle accelerated very quickly.
Exactly. That's the point.
Would it be fair to say that you would have to be present in the vehicle to tell if the gas pedal was pushed?
No. I just told you, I can tell when a vehicle's speeding up. That would determine whether or not I'm going to pull out in the intersection or not. You don't have to be in a vehicle to know that a vehicle is going fast and or accelerating. Oh my God, state, I need you to objection, please.
Hard, extremely hard, as you say? Or as hard as you could?
No.
You would be able to tell that
Oh my
from
God.
outside observation?
How many times? Ask and
Yes.
answer. Ask and answer. Objection. Move on. I got a big objection sign. I'm holding it up right now.
Did you observe the route of the vehicle after? Well, the video shows you kind of go off the screen, and did you observe where the vehicle went at that point?
Yes.
Did it continue straight, or did it turn?
Continue down the parade route.
The point is, it ran over people and he's
Do
seen
you
it.
recall about how far?
That don't even matter. That
no.
don't matter. That doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Stop this, please.
Do you recall seeing any brake lights?
No.
This is painful. This is worse than gout in my toe.
Even when it briefly slowed down?
Jeez.
That'd be correct.
My God.
So would it be fair to say that in order to slow a vehicle down, you have to brake?
Oh my God.
Not necessarily.
And what is the necessarily?
Hitting something or going over something naturally will slow a vehicle down.
So how far would you estimate that the vehicle was traveling before it slowed down?
This is nonsense.
I can't remember that.
This is nonsense. Darrel, why did you drive through that parade and why did you do that? I think he should have been on the stand and they should have questioned, why did you do this? If Darrel Brooks had not have violated, all right, the restraining order between him and Erica Patterson, then guess what, guys? These lives would have been spared on that day. Because that's the cause. He violated his restraining order and he was around Erica Patterson. And they got into it. And that's what precipitated all of this. Once again, if he had not have violated that, those lives, Jackson Spark, I bet you, would be alive today. And the rest of those people that died and the rest of those people that were injured would not have been injured in that way. If he would have followed the protocol of that restraining order. And there's a lot of factors. If his mother wouldn't have bailed him out of jail, then he wouldn't have violated the restraining order. You know what I'm saying? He would have been kept in the cage. And in my opinion, his bail should not have been that low. So what? His mother was indigent. That's the point. That's the point. Don't lower the bail to her affordability. Now you got a criminal back out on the streets. Come on. But then they use common sense after he killed these people by raising the bail where his mother was never able to get him out. Well, that should have been done the first time. Maybe those people, those lives would have been spared. All right. Listen, y'all, I want you to like and share this one. I'm going to be documenting more. And I want to, I said it earlier. I said it previously. I want you to let me know the Christopher Bartran, the day of that trial, because I want to cover that one as well. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the new subscribers. And I look forward to doing another one of these. Have a great day.